Well dressed because it's going to get quite cold at some places we're going to visit. Alright, my name is Amalia and
Hi,
I'm
Amalia.
your guide. Hello everybody.
Hi.
And what we're going to do now is that you're going to follow me in, we're actually going to travel in time together. And this time journey, it will start for over 1,000 years ago during the Viking era. And it's supposed to end in present day time, hopefully. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to tell you the story about this place, this mountain, because you're actually now sitting on the top, almost at least, of a mountain. It's a very small mountain, but it's still a mountain. And this mountain has got a name. It's called Varberg, just like the city. But this mountain was called that. It was called Varberg long before there even was a city here. Even maybe back in the Viking era, so that's why we start there. So then we have to travel back in time, about 1,000 years ago. 1,000 years back in time. We travel back in time and we land here on an empty mountain. You have to try to imagine how it looked like here for over 1,000 years ago. It's not easy because it looked very different. So you have to try to imagine an empty mountain. Okay, do that. No houses, no buildings, no cars, nothing. Empty. With a magnificent view of the sea. We do have a great view now as well. But back then, they could actually see over 40 kilometers of the coastline from here. We can't today because there are buildings in the way. And that view they had back then, it was very useful. Because in troubled times, when the people living around this mountain were afraid that enemies were coming from the sea to plunder and rob in the villages here, they put guards on this mountain. And these guards, they watched the sea for enemy ships. And if they saw enemy ships, their task was to warn the people living here. And they didn't do that by doing like this, hello, they're coming! They lit a fire, a huge fire, on top of this mountain. And the light and the smoke from that fire could be seen for miles away. And then they lit another fire on the next mountain and on the next mountain. And in that way the villagers, the people around here, they knew quite fast that enemies are approaching. We have to go into hiding or prepare ourselves for war. Take our belongings with us and hide them, because now they're on their way, they're coming. So, and the name of Varberg literally means guard mountain. So it's from the Viking guards. But today there are lots of buildings up here, and I want you to start to think about one of them at least. I want you to start to think about that grey one up there. The grey one with the museum sign on the wall. And try to ignore the pink ones because they are not existing. Just the grey one, because that was actually the first building ever built up here. And then we have to travel in time again from the Viking era forward in time to the end of the 13th century. And then we also land in the Middle Ages, and we land in Denmark. Because in the end of the 13th century, this place and the county of Northern Halland, the northern part of the county Halland, it belonged to Denmark.